Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. This is Success with Srini.
On the podcast today, I want to highlight a conversation I had with a bunch of incredibly talented co-founders of a company. Welcome back to Success with Srini. Happy Sunday morning to you. Now, I want to share this story with you because I think this has some value. This conversation has some value. And regardless who you are and what you do, I think this will add to whatever you have got going in your life today. So, long story short, it's a small company, 2 or 3 co-founders. They're still looking for, I think they're onboarding a couple of co-founders. And I advise them whenever they have something for me, they have a question for me. And yesterday on the Zoom call, somehow the call went to competition. And one of the co-founders said, we are worried about the competition that the marketplace is now seeing. And I interrupted him. I said, I don't think the competition in the marketplace has anything to do with you. I think you are independent of the competition. I think you need to start thinking about yourself. And I think the single biggest competition is going to be from within, from inside of this company. They were perplexed when I said that. And I said that even though all of you, the co-founders, are incredible, you guys are amazing, but I think that the single biggest competition is going to be from inside. And I said, I've been a part of many companies, myself as an employee and now with my own company and also involved with many other operations. You see, there is always a disgruntled employee. And every time a disgruntled employee perceives a threat or perceives an injustice, they're going to do whatever they have to do to pull down the whole company. And I've seen that happen multiple times. So I'm saying this from experience. Now, I'm not saying that you have an employee who's going to pull the company down. But every time there is some lack of performance in any company, you can see that that lack of performance can be tied to one individual who has either given up, lost motivation, or created some other affiliation that is outside of the necessary affiliation. So they have started to bank their values and their beliefs and their loyalties somewhere else. I've seen that happen. And usually the performance of a company, any company, can be tied to an exemplary performance of one employee or lack of that of one employee. So the conversation went in different directions. And this model, I started to explain a bit more to them. I said, the best way to really understand how a company can collapse is to study cybersecurity. And in cybersecurity, if you have taken a class on cybersecurity, they teach you all different ways a company can be hijacked or a company's data can be taken over. And there are 4 specific characters they identify. One is somebody who is a pawn, somebody who is influenced or has no influence, has no idea, gets influenced by innocence and does something like downloading a PDF file or some zip file and a malware or whatever, and then compromises the whole company's data. Then there is a goof. A goof is somebody who thinks that, I'm above the policies, the standards, and all that, and I can do anything that I want to do. In the process, compromises the security of the company. Then there is a character called collaborator who collaborates, participates in compromising the company's data. And then there is also another character who could be called a wolf, somebody who has an intent to destroy the company, does everything, has no outside collaborators, has no inside collaborators, but just makes up the mind that I want to take this down. And this lone wolf could be the disgruntled employee who perceives or has perceived injustice being done to him or her, and that's all. That's how it goes. Now, because this is a small company, And I made my case and I said, because small company, only co-founders are working now. I don't see this happening with you. But then understand, the biggest threat is that one of you or all of you may lose the opportunity because you make an irreversible mistake and you lose the momentum in your thought process. There is a break in the intellectual flow that's happening within all of you. And in the process, you lose the train of thought. And as an entrepreneur, it's going to happen to you all the time. And we are challenged, entrepreneurs. When I say we, I mean myself. We are constantly challenged by so many other things that are happening around us. It's hard. It's difficult to manage so many moving things. And because that possibility is there, it doesn't matter how many co-founders you are and how many people you have got going. But regardless, and this could happen, and I see that as the biggest threat. I also highlighted this, and I have highlighted this multiple times on this podcast, which is that the seed of our own construction and the virus of our own destruction is within us. And as the founders, as the co-founders, or as leader of a company or a startup or whatever it is, whatever you have got going in your life, you need to be constantly focusing on the construction aspect of this equation, not on the virus aspect of this equation. So I think that a lack of proper thinking, lack of strategy, or a drop in your thought flow or thought process can create the competition internally. And now you're fighting your own self. And that I see as the biggest setback or competition. I don't see any competition from anybody else from outside. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because I want you to take this analogy for a second, or this conversation or whatever I shared with them, and look into your own life and see who you perceive as your competition. And if you are, then they may not be the competition. You yourself are competing with yourself. There is no other individual who is seeking your title or your revenues or your clients or any of that. It's you against you. And it is you who has to develop. It is you who has to self-explore. It is you who has to inculcate new values, new beliefs, new understandings, new observations, new data points so that you can grow and so that you can grow everybody else around you. And if you drop that thought process, and if you say, oh, I've done enough and I need to relax now, or I need to think about something else, now in that moment you have effectively lost the game. So now you have allowed other people to now succeed. They could be people outside of the company and other companies, other entities, and it's very difficult to catch up. That was my conversation. I hope this helps. I hope this inspires you to really look into yourself and start questioning yourself. It's a Sunday. I'm going to stop here. And I'll be back here again tomorrow with another thought-provoking, hopefully conversation, maybe a question from you. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.